Hello everyone, I'm hoping everyone had a great day today. Uh, I just made a video talking about my hopes and wishes. My phone's too far from my face. Just got done talking about a video about my hopes and wishes and what I don't want to see and do want to see in the next Pokemon game. This one is about what I was gonna say is this one is actually about what animals will actually make perfect Pokemon. Now I can't remember what was this owl name, but I'm gonna start off with it. This owl is actually very unique. When it's like in danger or senses any type of dangers or feel threatened, its face will actually change, like literally change. I should really look for that video or the gift of it, but this is how the owl actually looks when it's like feeling threatened. That would actually be a cool Pokemon because it'd be like a form change. Next will be a wombat Pokemon. No, I think I actually still have the picture on my phone. Let's see. Uh, I know I have the image. Give me 1 second. Okay, I found it. This will be, this is the wombat Pokemon. His name is Wombi. Well, I called it Wombi just to play on the word wombat. And it's a grass fighting type, so it's kind of weak against flying, poison, fire, psychic, ice, and fairy. But it can do some good damage. And since wombats are actually surprisingly fast, I gave it the ability Speed Boost, hidden ability Natural Cure. Pretty sure people will just keep the Speed Boost, but yeah, this little guy or girl, whichever one you prefer, it's the wombat Pokemon. It's kind of hard to see, but it's something I did. Next is the pink armadillo. I can see that as being a Pokemon, mostly a fairy and ground type, because it's pink. Pink dolphin will be a great Pokemon. Amazon pink dolphin. It could be just water flying or water in psychic or water and fairy, because dolphins can represent any one of those things, but they could be terrifying as well. So water and dark. Next is the pancake octopus. This one will actually be like a little water fairy type because it's actually very small and adorable. And next is the glass caterpillar, which actually will make a good like bug type, being like probably just a plain bug or the actual route bug, like main route bug. I can see it being like a bug um rock, because just like Nihilego, well, its body's made of a gel, but Nihilego body is made like a very like rockish glass. But since its body's made of gel, it would be just bug, I believe. I forgot what those things turn into. Next is a glowworm. Now these things will be more of an interesting Pokemons because they actually glow in the dark and they catch their food in a sorry, in their sticky webs, and they would actually eat other insects. But this is actually beautiful to see in dark caves because it's like a whole night sky in it. Next is glow in the dark scorpions. I believe all scorpions glow in the dark, or just these. Wait, these will be like just plain bug type or bug water. These guys will be like bug poison, or I would say fairy, but I don't want to say fairy because I say it still needs that poison. And these guys actually do glow in the dark, so this would be an interesting concept to see, because if the sun goes down in the Gen 8 games, you can actually see your Pokemon start glowing in the dark, which will be the most mind-blowing thing in the entire Pokemon franchise. Next, I would actually like to see more candy-based like Pokemons. Swirlix, somewhat made of candy, but not really. But I still like it. Swirlix and Slurpuffs. The other two was just perfumes. But I actually like to see more like candy like Pokemons. Next, I would actually see llamas or alpaca like Pokemons. And Oh, the candies will be like fairy as well. Um, wait, what was? Okay, scorpion. The alpacas will be more like ice types. Well, ice and normal, I believe, will be no ice and water because they spit. Or they might actually be fire and water because if they nah, just ice and water because if you provoke them, they will spit. And it's kind of gross, but it's something they do. Plus, they kind of be just fluffy. Next is capybara, which I can see being a plain water or water normal type or water fighting. And these are large rodents that can be found, I think, here in the U.S. if I'm not mistaken, or Australia. It was one or the other. I couldn't remember where they're from, but they're probably from here or there. Next, I can see is being a Pokemon is a finger monkey, like a very small monkey-like Pokemon. These monkeys are literally the size of your like index finger. They can actually like climb onto your finger and stuff, and they're really small and adorable. I can see these little guys being like normal types or like small normal grass types. Was what I was trying to say. Uh, I forgot what was this for. Now this right here is called a Tasmanian tiger. Now they went extinct a long time ago, but I can still see them being a fossil Pokemon or just a normal Pokemon in general. Because most of the starters are grass type starters are fossil, well, dead animals, but I can see this one being an actual Pokemon because it's interesting and it can open its jaw really far down. Um, its type will be Ghost in fighting or just Ghost because it's already extinct. This one is I believe is Noragami from Okami. Now I can actually see like a somewhat of a moon rabbit like god. Well, yeah, moon rabbit god starter. It'll be like fire and ghost type, which would be extremely interesting, and it will carry like a large hammer just to create mochi. Next is a weasel or a mink, which is kind of like based off of a Itachi, which would actually be a great water type starter since water type starters have like hidden or I don't know how to say call their weapons of weapons that they use, but they use these I would say survival skills or survival weapons because when it comes to Blastoise, it has cannons. For Fargator, since it's based off of Caveman, it uses like brute force and stuff and teeth. Well, mostly uses its strong jaws to bite down. And then Swampert, in its mega form, it actually propels itself forward by filling its gills on its arms with water. It kind of pushes itself forward, so it's kind of representing of a torpedo. And then Empoleon wings has like ice daggers on them, which is an actual weapon that you can use to actually break up ice. If you look it up, it actually looked like Empoleon's wings. And then Samurott has its this shell swords, and then Greninja has his high pressure water shurikens, and then Primarina uses her voice or his voice to create water bombs. So all starters, water type starters are aquatic animals, and they have kind of like these weapons to help them in their environment. Now, next I would actually like to see a wait, it'll be water steel type before I forget. Or if it's an actual weasel, it'll be just water. But next is a Black Panther Pokemon. I would actually like to see this one because it'd be interesting to actually see like a dark and electric type or a dark fighting or a fighting electric. Because I could see them being like that or probably the next one. Because I know the next one was a cheetah. I can see it being like a dark electric like I said or a fast, not want to be no fast normal type or a normal electric basically. It has to have like one of the fastest typings. And then next I would actually like to see a hyena Pokemon because who doesn't like hyenas? I mean the population in the games will be mostly females because in hyena society, the females are dominant than the males. The males are lower ranked than all the girls in the group. The highest ranking male is still lower than the lowest ranking female in the hyena society. So I would actually still like to see them as Pokemons because their laughter always makes me laugh. They'd be like interesting to see. And then this one actually is actually more interesting because there's an actual rabbit out there called Volcano Rabbit. So if the Gen 8 Pokemon starter, Fire type starter is a rabbit, I'm just gonna say now it's gonna be this rabbit. It's gonna be based on a volcano rabbit. Now these little rabbits are known to live in mountains of Mexico. And as you can see, it's the second smallest rabbit. And it's just very adorable. It actually lives on like volcano sides. And then next I could see being a Pokemon is a Sandcat. They will be a actually ground normal or ground fighting because they get a little routed when they're not around sand. And they're like, I wouldn't say the world's smallest cats, but they're like still the same size as kittens. And their kittens are even smaller than they are. And remember, these are wild cats, so don't try to take one from Africa and bring it home. Next is the peacock spider. Now I can see this one being like a bug and electric type because it moves left and right like dancing around, and they're like extremely small spiders. And it's very interesting to see like such a little spider doing like a lot of things. And they're kind of like the jumping spiders because the way that their bodies are. And the next is the cartwheel spider. I can see being bug and flying because yeah, it kind of do cartwheels or fighting because you know it's cartwheels. It gets weird. Next is what's this called? A mole worm. I can see this being just a plain ground type, and it's actually a lizard. It's not really a mole or a worm. It's very interesting animal because it actually does dig barrels and stuff. And I can actually see something like this maybe becoming a Pokemon, but it might make people feel weird about it. And then next, I can see a killing being a Pokemon. Of course, it'd be just a plain dragon type because, or dragon water. Now I know Suicune is based off on a Quillen, but I actually like to see a more Quillen like base Pokemon, and it'll be like really cool to see because it will look like this. It's like a dragon on all fours. And then next I could see being a Pokemon would be the thorny lizard. Now these lizards will be like ground dark type, or I would say poison or water, but more on the poison side, but not really. Because it can shoot blood out of its eyes, which tastes disgusting to anyone that tastes it. So yeah, this one would be a weird one, but it will still make a great Pokemon though. I can actually see it being one. Next is the Snow Owl. I can see it being a Pokemon as well. Next is the Snow Leopard, which also, well, I almost forgot. It'll be like ice and flying. Next is a Snow Leopard. Can't say that. Which will be more like ice and normal. Depends on what route they take. Or not. Do they already have ice electric? Probably. Nah, they won't probably make it an ice electric type. Or probably ice and dark again. But sorry, again, burping. The Snow Leopard will actually make a pretty good Pokemon, in my opinion. Next will be a Beluga. Well, it's because like in the cold, well, it will actually make a good Pokemon because it's actually really strong. It can actually break icebergs with this, like, I think it's this one. Or it's a different well, but I believe Belugas actually can break up ice with their heads. And plus, we don't even have that many well Pokemon, so a Beluga will actually be a nice addition, making it an ice water type or ice steel type. Next is the hot spring monkeys in Japan. I can see them be more of a fire and water type because they like hanging around in hot springs, and I'm pretty sure their ability will be water absorb. But I'm surprised they never did like make them Pokemons. Oh wait, they're macaques. Next is a platypus Pokemon, which would be more interesting because it would be like water poison. Well, the males only will be water poison, or was it females? One of them has a poison, like a small poison barb on the back of its foot, and if it stabs you with it, you will kind of not survive it. So a platypus will actually make a cool water poison type, and it will actually make a good starter as well because it'd be like a special hidden poison back on the back of its heel. Next, this creepy fish is known as a spookfish. Will also make a good water ghost type, and those two like glowing balls is that's looking upward on his clear shaped head. Those are his eyes. It can look upward and also look forward, so it'd be a creepy but cool addition to like the new generation. Next is I think puffer. No, not pufferfish. It's dang, I forgot what they call this one. It's like a little squid. It can inflate itself and make itself small, and it can somewhat shapeshift. So I can actually see it being a very diverse type of little water type Pokemon. Would it be just water? I already said that one's ghost, water ghost. This one been like probably water flying because it does puff itself up and stuff. And then next is the vampire squid. This one been water ghost or water dark. It has a lot of rows of teeth in its webs between its tentacles, and it has very large eyes because it can't really, because where it lives there's not much sunlight. But why would this make a great addition to Pokemon is because its body actually do shines with light. It's something I thought about because with Solgaleo and Lunala, well mostly Lunala, if you move your DS around you can see the light shine. And this squid, like the skin like around its tentacles actually do shine. And it has like different methods of scaring off prey. Well, predators I mean. And then next is a cone jelly. I can see it'd be a water, probably a water fairy. But this is not technically a jellyfish. It's mostly made up of 80% of jelly and it glows. It just will be a very interesting Pokemon to see. And it mostly eats everything around it, so its ability will be gluttony. And then this is the eternal jellyfish. So it might be a mythical on, if now I'm thinking about it. Because once these jellyfish dies, they'll go back to like baby stage. Well, when they're injured, but if they're eaten, they're gone. But I could see this one being like water fairy or water ghost because it reverts back to its normal state. Well, baby stage. Next is a possum Pokemon, which would be very interesting to see. I can see it being like a dark fighting, dark, normal, dark, ghost. It'd be very interesting Pokemon with a special ability. Like if you knock it out, it'll pretend to fade, but it'll still have a little bit of HP left, but not a lot. And then you could just throw it back out there. I can see it being like that if the Pokemon company goes that route. Then I would say, well, this one is called a glass frog. You can see its underbelly very clear as day, just like Poliwag, like its guts and stuff. But this one's actually more of a frog version, and I can actually see it being more of a water rock type somewhat. And this is a velvet worm. This one is most likely bug because it can shoot, I think bug poison, because it can shoot out a very sticky adhesive from its antennas, and then I believe that the adhesive kind of, no, it has a fang that it bites into its prey, and it kind of dissolves its insides, and then it slurps like the insides up like soup. And these are very rare. Like, this is a very rare creature too, so you will not come across it. The only way you can actually find it is going into the forest at night while it's raining. That's the only way you can find a velvet worm. So I can see it being like a rare Pokemon to find, like a 1% encounter. You can only find it when it's raining and in its nighttime. Now this one would actually be extremely interesting because this one will have the type combination we don't have. This is called the Dragon Head Caterpillar, and I can see it being a dragon and bug type, or probably just bug type, depending on how the Pokemon Company will handle something like this. But this is a very interesting like caterpillar because it is known as the dragon-headed caterpillar. You can tell because its head kind of look like it does have horns, and when it does go through a stage, it actually turns to a moth or a butterfly, I believe. It's a very interesting little creature. And here is a blue tongue skink. I can see this one being a Pokemon as well. I would say like a fire type at least. Have like blue flaming tongue and stuff, because that would be extremely cool. So this is a blue tongue skink. It's, as you can tell, its tongue is blue. There's other skinks in the world too. One second. There's other skinks in the world too. So there's more than one variation of this type of lizard. But these lizards are very harmless and stuff. But they'd still be interesting to see as a Pokemon. Like a normal lizard, then it opens its mouth. You can see its very bright or dark blue tongue. Now these are the fossil Pokemons, not the deer, the saber-tooth tiger, and the dire wolves. These would have been perfect, magnificent fossil Pokemons. Now I mean perfect. Because these two are already enemies. And dire wolves were the first domesticated dogs to be domesticated by humans to hunt down saber-tooth tigers, which were known to eat and kill people. And did you know saber-tooth tigers are actually more canine than cats? But anyways, these guys would have been automatically rock. Probably adding fighting to that. I know I added fighting to a lot of these, but fighting, dark. What else would have been a good one? They're already rocks. So just fighting in dark. They can fit those two right there. And that is it for this video. Now I have one more video to make, and y'all will probably see it after this one. So I shall see you all next time, because I gotta go make that video.